I got an opinion. A little bit of some bones picking here. And apparently, y'all are going to have to just suffer through it. Because, I needs to say something. And I don't think that if I don't say something, then people aren't going to understand why it's something that irks me. This whole bullshit about, men who are not triggered are real men thing I just saw on the interwebs. Let me make something abundantly clear. The men who aren't fucking triggered, who aren't sitting there and saying something, don't have enough self-pride to actually stand up for themselves. The ones that do often get told, oh, you're triggered, and sorry, fuck you. No, fuck you smartly. Not triggered. I don't give a shit about what you fucking say. You're not sleeping in my bed with me. You're not fucking me. You're not sitting there going and making my dinner or, washing my clothes or doing any of that shit. And vice versa. So nothing that you have to say really matters one fuckwit at all. But the reality of it is that if a man doesn't have the wherewithal to stand up for himself and actually say something, then the rest of us, poor cocksuckers, think of him as less of a man. And so, when it really comes down to it, if you want to know what makes a man, it's somebody who's A, willing to stand up for himself, B, willing to stand up to anybody for himself, and then C, doesn't allow chump fucking bullshit to rule his life. Once he's said his piece and it's been said, it's done. So if you need to have a little bit of, a size 11 up the ass to get yourself going right, let me help you start this Harley real quick with my foot up your ass. If I'm triggered, it's because you said something fucking retarded. It has nothing to do with whether or not, I'm a secure man or I'm not a secure man or any of that shit. It has to deal with you are a yappy ass little cunt who does not understand fucking English. Okay? And who likes to go and talk themselves up. It has nothing to do with whether or not a man is secure with themselves or not. When you see a man who is confident in himself and confident in the way he is and confident in how he carries himself, that man could look like a goddamn clusterfuck of dinge and destruction and decay. And at the same time, it doesn't bother him. That is a man who is secure. A man who is insecure has to look pretty, has to be perfect for everybody. But inside, he's crying. Because he isn't getting the kudos from everyone that he thinks he deserves. So, when you're out there in your world today and you're sitting there listening to your girlfriends yap up at you about fucking utter bullshit, about how, that guy looks so gross, I want you to remember something. The man who looks gross, he's walking around with tattered clothing and shredded hats, his hair's fucking standing off at weird ass ends. Remember, that guy doesn't give a shit about what you have to say about him. He cares about what you have to say because you're a human being. He responds to what you have to say because you said something. Not because you're fucking the Ayatollah themselves or some shit. Or, for that fucking matter, Donald Trump, or if you're that particular persuasion, camel toe hairy ass. I don't give a flying fuck about what you think about me. I really don't. What I care about is what you think. Not what you think about me, what you think. What I care about is what you have to say. And what I'm responding to is somebody who said something out of the side of their neck without even thinking. Because if you were a human being for just a fucking second, you'd realize a real man who is confident, carries himself appropriately, and sees life just the same way I do, doesn't care about how sharply dressed he is. Doesn't care about showing off to fucking public. He's just existing. Learn to walk like that man. Learn to walk like the guy who just doesn't fucking give a rat's ass. Because in all reality, the guy who doesn't care about other people's whimsy-ass bullshit, but does care about other people's opinions of the world, maybe something that they have about themselves that they want to say, or, have something that they want to say about life in general, or something like that, or have a commentary about movies or things like that. Maybe he does care about that, but he don't give a shit about what he's dressed up as. Let me point something out to you. I'm going to show you a bunch of people around here, and I want you to take yourself and look and say, who around here is compensating for something? Who's out there compensating? Now, all these vehicles out here, you see a whole bunch of nice brand new cars and stuff. All these people out here, there was a bunch of people walking around just previously before I panned around, but, I'm not trying to put too many people's faces on Front Street on my channel. Anyways, reality of it is that none of these people care. None of them give a ripe shit. Not one little bit. I know I don't. I am wearing 5 fucking layers of excess over the top of 4 layers of shirts. And it's 58 degrees outside. I don't care. I look like hammered crap. Doesn't matter. That has abso-fucking-lutely no bearing on who I am. How I carry myself, who I stand to be, how I treat others. Has no bearing on it. If I was walking around in a $2,000, $3,000 freaking brand spanking new Caruso and everybody got to see me in my nice threads, do you think I'd give a fuck even then? It's not what you're wearing. It's how much you wear. Not how much you wear. How much you wear. How much you wear down when somebody else pisses you off. How much you're willing to sit there and take it up the tailpipe when somebody says something that you know is completely bullshit. Like, for instance, I was just watching this, I want to say it's a hussy on the internet. Because, yeah, sorry, but you're trying to speak on men's confidence, and you wouldn't know a confident man if he fucking struck you in the face. Seriously, you said a man who is clean cut, clean shaven, has a nice fucking $1,000 Armani suit on, and is driving around in a brand new pimped out car. That man is not confident. That man is compensating. There's a difference. Confident? I don't give a shit that there's a fucking pile of crap in my passenger seat. Nobody else is going to be taking up that seat anytime soon. When they do, I'll clean it out. That's confidence. Not giving a fuck until it matters. Carrying yourself with enough understanding of who you are not what everybody else thinks you are. Having the self-worth that when somebody calls you a narcissist, you turn around and you tell them they're so full of shit and here's these dozen reasons why. Not, oh, well, yeah, I guess I must be a narcissist, or ignoring them entirely. You realize that I could care fucking less what somebody has to say about me. But because I do not want to be this narcissist everybody fucking points out and says, oh, well, you're on the internet, so you must be a narcissist. I don't want to be that person. So my whole aspect of it is to try and point out to this other individual that it's not about me. I only have the ability to use my experiences in order to help others. That is not a narcissistic trait. A narcissist doesn't give a flying fuck about anybody but them. They're not interested in helping anybody but them. They're not interested in instructing anybody but them. They're not interested in helping anybody to achieve greater other than themselves. They only care about themselves. They cannot take constructive criticism. They cannot stand on business. A narcissist is a flimsy, weak individual who only has infatuations with themselves. Cannot become infatuated with anything or anyone else. This is why when people say, Blaine, you're a narcissist, I laugh at them and I try to instruct them on how an actual narcissist seems to be, looks, appears, does, acts, etc., etc. Not the individual who's going to go out there and be like, oh, I'm sorry that, that your cousin has cancer. I'm gonna pray for you. Or, I'm sorry that life has been down on you. Just remember, shoulder into the yoke, smile, and one foot in front of the other. You're going to get better at this. That's not a narcissist, folks. That's somebody who is actually more selfless than they are selfish. A narcissist can't do that. It literally breaks their brain. And I've had this straight from a psychologist. A psychologist told me you cannot be a narcissist. You physically, mentally cannot be a narcissist. Why? Because when I smacked my hand against the freaking underside of my desk, you were worried about the injury to my hand, not worried about the loud noise making things weird. Little tiny mental tests. When somebody sits there and they don't want to be a burden to someone else, that is a sign that they are not a narcissist. A narcissist is everything is for me and nothing for everyone else. And it's that same mentality that feminists have. It's that same mentality that misogynists have. That if it's not helping me and mine and what is important to me right now, then screw it all. A mentality like that is not how to be an adult. It's not how to be a good human being in any particular. So the best way to look at this is, ladies, use a little bit of fucking common sense. Just a little bit. A man who is confident looks like trash. Looks like absolute goddamn trash. Has been beaten the fuck down by life. And is still in the fight. The man who is compensating out the fucking wazoo with all the fancy, nice this, that, and the doodads and extra specials and that and the other. Yeah, you're actually wrong but right about that guy. Vice versa sort of thing. The guy who's not confident about himself has to look nice, has to appear to the world as if he's doing well. That's the man who has no confidence. The man who has confidence, has self-confidence and self-worth, doesn't give a shit how he looks. Doesn't give a shit what you think about him. Just does, just survives, just does his life. And he tries to help people along the way. That's a confident man. A confident man is going to stand up to your dumbassery and your bullshit. A confident man will literally get in your face and ask you, what the fuck are you thinking? So, today, tomorrow, the next day, the rest of your fucking life, while you're out there going, oh my God, men are so evil and this and that. And then when you finally hit the wall and it's like, oh my God, men won't date me anymore. I want you to understand something. It's because you failed to understand what true confidence looks like. It has nothing to do with whether a man will respond to you when you call him a fucking vile piece of shit. In many more words. When he goes and he dissects your dumbassery, I want you to be understanding and clear. You're the reason why he did that. Not his confidence level. You didn't shake him at all. As a matter of fact, all you did was piss him off. Because you lied. You lied about him. And many more like him. And he cannot fucking withstand that shit. Because he is someone who holds self-worth. He is somebody who is confident. And he is confident enough to be able to turn around and get in your face and tell you that you are full of shit and you should go wash your mouth out. For the rest of the folks in the world out there who think that they're so fucking high and mighty that their shit doesn't stink and that's why the grass grows, maybe you might want to take a look back at some of my videos and find out what it actually looks like to build confidence, to become better, to show everything of who you are versus what you think people might like to see. That's what I mean about confidence. I'm not impressed. And quit fucking talking about my confidence or any other man's confidence when you have to get dolled up to get in front of a camera. Okay?